Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is July 27th, 2022, better known as
24 hours since Ralph got Julio Jones.
I was waiting for you to say it. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited about this.
Oh my gosh. You can get that Julio Jones jersey you've always wanted.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I won't feel like a traitor now.
How mad are Falcons fans right now?
Falcons fans, of all the teams in NFC South, they are my favorite. If you have to.
Why don't you just be a Falcon fan at this point?
Well, I'm not saying I like them. I'm just saying they're the least obnoxious.
Most tolerable.
Yes. But I know they're just crying. They've lost everything. I mean, their team is in total rebuild. But
they got Marcus Mariota.
God. But, at least they're not the Panthers. That's what they could say. I don't know what the Panthers are doing over there. It is, oof.
Gosh.
At least the Falcons are somewhat trying. I don't know.
Maybe.
I can't blame them, to be honest with you, because you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are just a powerhouse. There's no way to compete with them. So just suck it up for the next couple of years, at least till Brady leaves. Get some high draft picks.
Now is the time to rebuild because you've gotten ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
At the Bucs, at least. Tom Brady leaves. We got all these veterans that are signing, ring chasing.
Yes.
They're going to be gone when Tom Brady leaves. So all the other teams are they got one up on us. They got a couple years head start. It might not help them though.
It is so crazy just to think back at the beginning of the year. Tom Brady retired. We were looking at somewhat of a rebuild ourselves. We were like, oh, no, what are we going to do? And, Gronk's going to leave and everybody's going to flee. And Ali Marpet retired. And we're thinking, oh, this is horrible. And then, boom, 40 days later, guess what, guys? Tom Brady's back.
Yeah.
He's bringing a whole crew of people with him.
Ryan Jensen was potentially going elsewhere.
That's right. Who was it? Cincinnati was looking at him.
I don't know. Well, that's where Capo went.
Yeah. Well, they needed some help over there.
Yeah. It might have been. I feel like it was Cincinnati. That's crazy. They were just going to pillage half of our offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, we've lost some really good players, and they're going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But, man, I think we're building like the intro says, it's a whole new team. We're building a different team this year.
Well, it's interesting. I always do get super attached to whatever team we have. And then the next year, I was just thinking about this. I was like, God, preseason, I'm going to have to learn all these new numbers. Like we got Logan Ryan, what number, and you really, and Ralph, you in particular, watching a lot of film, like how these guys move and how they dress and their accessories. And so that helps you identify them. You got to learn all these new guys. Yeah. And I forget who we've even replaced. I was thinking, I had watched that Levante David press conference. And I was like, gosh, who is in our inside linebackers room? And I was like, okay, so we got Levante and Devin, and then we had Grant Stewart and KJ Britt, so I knew them. But then I was like, can we just get Kevin Minter back now so I have some continuity? It's like too much change all at once.
Yes.
I don't deal with it well. But you get attached to last year's team, and then you get a new one. Eventually you adjust. You get attached to them. Then they all leave. So
yes.
It's never ending. I'll never be happy.
Yes, you do not like change. And that brings me to why we have not been doing a lot of podcasting and content lately.
The excuses.
Yeah, we've got our excuses, ma'am. These are pretty valid, though. One, there's been a whole lot going on with the Buccaneers, up until the Julio Jones, the Kyle Rudolph signing. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then the Julio Jones signing. basically in the past few days, there's been a little bit of activity. But before that, really hasn't been anything. But we've had in our personal lives lots going on. If you've been following the podcast, you know that Molly is pregnant. You are at what, 4 months now? Mm-hmm. Yes. So we've had that going on, and if anybody's had kids, you know that's kind of an exciting time, and it keeps you busy.
I'm tired.
Yes. But I had a tragedy in my life a couple weeks ago. My mother passed away, blood clot in the brain.
Very suddenly.
Very suddenly. There was no warning or whatever. They just, her husband walked in and found her laying on the floor, and she was still alive at the time, but basically brain dead, took her to the hospital and all that good stuff. So it was a very horrible time, and you know, all of us kids got together, and that's never fun. So it's been just put everything on hold. You know, you don't get a lot of stuff done when tragedies like that happen. And we've just had way too much death in the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. We just went to a funeral with one of Molly's best friends. His son died, young kid.
23.
Horrible.
Awful.
Molly's grandfather has died. My aunt died. My nephew died, or my cousin. My uncle died. I've had just about my whole one side of my family just wiped out.
Your father?
My dad died. Mm-hmm. Yep. So this has been the decade of death, we were calling it, since
sure has.
2020.
Like 2020. It was like 2020, boom.
Yes. And then on the day that my mother went in the hospital for the brain thing, we bought a house. We were in the process of it and had the bid put in on that same very day. As a matter of fact, we were on our way down. We are moving into enemy territory, North Carolina. Yes.
Which is my home state.
Yes. So we were actually on the way out the door when I got the phone call, and I thought, you know, that she had just had a fall, or it was told me that it was a stroke and that she was in the emergency room. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So I told Molly, I said, y'all just go ahead and go down there, and I'll go to the hospital and let you know. And when I got to the hospital and talked to the doctors, they were like, there's nothing we could do. She's brain dead, blah, blah, blah. And so I called Molly, and you were about an hour away at that point. Mm-hmm. You turned around and came back. But we did get the offer put in the house, and we got it. So we are going to be moving soon. Right
in time for the start of
the
season.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. So we will have the TV and whatever computer apparatus Ralph needs. It will be at the front of the U-Haul so we can get it set up. You know, we will not be moving on a Sunday.
Yes.
So we will certainly be planning around, which we need to look at the schedule and see when the most convenient time is going to be for the football schedule.
Yeah, because I have not missed a Buccaneers football game since 1997. So don't want to do it now.
Yep.
So, you know, it's been a roller coaster. We've had good news, bad news, good news, bad news, good news, bad news, and it's just been a mess. So, we have not been able to put any time into anything, really. It's just been a flurry of activity over here.
Everything's a mess.
Yeah,
house, life.
Yeah.
We're all kind of in limbo. So.
But we got the new baby coming. Everything's looking good on that.
Mm-hmm. Baby girl. I don't think that we knew the last time we did one.
That's right. It's a baby girl.
So.
Yeah. We have a daughter named River, and we are naming this one Meadow. So is that
we're a couple of damn hippies.
Not the hippie thing in the world. And if we have another girl, it's going to be named Brooke. Although,
no, why do you keep saying that? I'm nixing Brooke. It's not happening.
I know.
He keeps trying. He thinks I'll forget.
Yeah, you weren't down with River at first either, but I talked you.
No, I picked River.
Was it Meadow?
It was Meadow. I thought we dropped Meadow completely, and then girl number 2. And you're like, okay, Meadow. And I'm like, shit. One second. No, it's fine. I love it. It's cute.
All right. So in case you aren't aware, the Buccaneers have signed Julio Jones to a 1-year, $6 million deal, up to $8 million with incentives. That was actually more than I thought we were going to pay him.
It was a birthday gift to Ralph.
Yes. It was, oh, that's right. Yes, that was my birthday.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
So we've had a wild couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Capped off by your birthday.
Yeah. It capped off by Julio Jones getting signed. Ooh. That did happen on my birthday.
It did.
Man, happy birthday to me.
I know. And he wore the coolest Buccaneer shirt yesterday that his mom had gotten him. Yeah. And went to the mall, got all kinds of compliments.
Yeah, people
Ralph
were
was like, why is everyone
this.
talking to me?
Yeah. Everybody was complimenting. It's just a nice looking shirt.
It is a good looking shirt.
I mean, nobody was like, hey, go Buccaneers. You know, they were just like, I like that shirt.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, that's one thing about Mom, man. She was always able to pick out. She'd give me some of the silly. Her thing was she bought everybody clothes, and she shopped. I mean, she was just a shopper. That's what she did her whole life.
Every time we went over there, she had a bag of clothes for us.
Yes, and Molly hasn't bought clothes for herself since we've been together.
13 years. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
I know.
Before I met Ralph, I wore black and brown all the time.
Same pair of pants and shirts, I think.
Probably. So I got probably 2 years because she was very fashion forward as well. So I probably got 2 years-ish of a wardrobe, and then I got to fend for myself. It's just terrible.
We're going to have to buy clothes for the kids.
I know. We've never bought clothes for our daughter. She's almost 8. And
she's got so much clothes. Mm-hmm. I mean, this kid has got clothes stacked to the ceiling just about. I mean, literally bags of clothes. Mm-hmm. And she's a fashionista. Oh, my gosh. And I'm sure Meadow's going to be the same way. But anyhow, enough about us. This is a Buccaneers podcast. Okay. Julio Jones. You know, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, especially before last year, you know that I've just always been in love with Julio Jones. I've had to watch him.
That is a strong word, Ralph. Should I be concerned? In love with Julio Jones. Okay, please continue.
I've said many a times that I thought he was the best receiver in the league. When you add up all the things that receivers have to do and have to be good at, he tops the list.
Okay. But would you put a ring on it? That's what I need to know.
I will put a championship ring on it.
That's what he's here for. So let's do this.
Good. That's what I want. I want him to be here for that. He's like Mike Evans, big, strong guy. He loves physical contact, and he is probably the best blocker as far as a wide receiver is concerned in the league. And I've watched film of him twice a year, every year, mm-hmm. and just every time I watch him, as a Buccaneers fan, he just burns us every year. He's just unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And even when he didn't have help, because he never really had a lot of, he had Sanu, he had Gage, he had some guys, but not like big number 2 wide receivers. Mm-hmm. And, Julio Jones was just out there just catching balls all the time. You can't stop him. He's like Mike Evans. You throw the ball up, he's going to catch it.
Well, would you say he's like a mix of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? Because he's got Chris. Chris has his blocking ability and loves physical contact. Yes. And then he's got Mike Evans' build.
Yes.
So he's like a good combination of the two.
Right. And he's got Chris Godwin's yards after the catch as well. Mm-hmm. Whereas Evans, he'll catch the ball. He doesn't go far after he catches it. I mean, he'll pick up a few yards. Yeah, sometimes he just falls down. Not a big run after the catch guy, but he's going to catch the ball in traffic. So there's always a guy on him anyhow when he catches the ball. But Julio Jones will break the tackle and run, or he will run you over. It's kind of like Gronkowski a little bit. Julio Jones is hard to take down. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he is a great blocker. And I've just seen so many times where, he's decleated our linebackers, blocking them. Yeah. Levante David, Devin White. I mean, he's knocked these guys down. He's one of those blockers, one of those football players that just likes physical contact. He seeks it out.
I wish in Levante's press conference today, he kind of would have talked about Julio. You know, he knows Julio like inside and out. Maybe it's a matter of not divulging this information for our opponents, but I would have liked to have heard from his perspective, like what Julio is going to add to the team.
Yes. Yeah. Julio has decleated Levante quite a few times. And he's very good at picks too, you know, Julio. And so we're going to see a lot of that. I think that the way we're building our team, you know, we got Russell Gage, we got Kyle Rudolph, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You know, we've got the 2 new guards. And also on defense, we're doing more speed up the middle. I think we're adjusting our team this year. I think we're going to be a little bit more run heavy than we have been in the past. And we're not going to be as concerned with run stopping on defense as we have been. So I think it's going to change a little bit. But I think we're going to see a lot more running this year than we have in the past few years.
That's an interesting. And I wonder, you know, one of the talks of the off season is Leonard Fournette's weight, and in fact, he kind of joked about it.
Was that Rick Stroud that brought that mess up? Of course
it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. If you didn't hear, there was an insider. I used air quotes there, that said Lenny came in at 260 to minicamp or whatever it was, OTAs, and the Bucs staff was pissed. The coaches were pissed because he had gained so much weight and was not in shape, and we just gave him like a 3-year contract.
Who was it that reported on that?
That was Rick Stroud.
That
yeah.
What you just said came from Rick Stroud, that there was an insider that.
I'm pretty sure.
Huh. That guy, man.
Y'all, fact check me on that one. But so that's been the talk, and you know, Lenny was tweeting and joking about it. Greg Allman said today, the first day of training camp, that Lenny looked fine. So when they asked Leonard Fournette about it, he said, "Oh, I'm up to like 240. So I'm gonna get down to what did he say, 230?" But then that report came out that no, he was at 260.
Well, that's a lot of times that's what you do when you're bulking up muscle. You know, you just eat everything in sight, you work out, and I think that's what he's been doing, is bulking up. And he's a big boy anyhow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, I think we're going to be a little bit more run heavy than we have been.
How is that going to shake up? I mean, we got Lenny. Let me look at our roster right now. Oh, I have the running backs right here. So we have Kenyon Barner, Giovanni Bernard, Lenny, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Rashad White. So our new draft pick. So 5 running backs. One of them is not going to make it, huh? We might put Kenyon Barner on the
practice squad.
Practice squad, probably. You know, I mean, we had Rojo. He's gone. So we got to replace him at number 2. I guess that there is going to be some competition there to see who will do number 2.
Do number 2. All right, South Park.
Who's going to do the number 2? Look at your bottle, the green screen.
What was it doing? Okay.
So they're competing for the number 2 spot. Who knows how that's going to shake out? I don't see any of them being a strong complement to Lenny. Unless they're going to go to a workhorse running back scheme, which BA never did.
Right.
But it's Todd Bowles now.
Exactly.
So how I don't recall what he did at the Jets. I don't know if he even cares. You know, he's a defensive coach. I don't know if he's going to let Byron kind of try things out and see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Byron has a little more freedom under Todd Bowles than he did under BA to make that kind of change. I don't know. We will find out. I don't really see any of the guys that we have at running backs that we're familiar with all of them except for Rashad White, and none of them I think are like powerhouse backs. So I don't know.
Well, Keyshawn Vaughn, he was pretty good. I mean, he
can't. Yeah, I mean he can't catch.
Right.
And they
yeah,
weren't putting him in.
Right.
His blocking wasn't great either, was it?
No.
So the two things they really want him to do in order to be able to run the ball. Hey, you got to block and you got to catch first. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting position to watch how it changes this year.
Yes. Yeah, it's good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about this team. What's going to happen? You know, we know we're going to be good. We know we're going to win the NFC South. We know we're going to go to the playoffs. It's just what type of team we're going to have. You know?
How far are we going to get? Are we going to fizzle out? Or
you hush your mouth. You know how far we're going to get. We're going to win a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, baby.
Okay, back to Julio Jones. We got sidetracked there. Julio Jones, did you know that he is the all-time NFL leader in career receiving yards per game? He has almost 92 yards per game average over 10 years.
God, and he was like a starter for like 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's number one in NFL history. 92 yards, 91.9 yards per game. It is crazy. The guy puts up some numbers.
100-yard game like every freaking game.
Right.
Wow.
But you talked about Julio Jones and you said he's very injury prone. And we've had this conversation because you're talking about my boy.
Don't slander the Julio Jones.
Hold on one second. Okay, we're back. This is weird. It's like we haven't done this podcast in so long. Everything's going crazy. We had somebody knock at the door.
Oh my gosh.
The Zoom thing was... What, the Zoom now you can only do 30-minute meetings or something?
I feel like we have less distractions when the kid is here.
No doubt.
She's at a sleepover, so we're...
Date night. So we have Julio Jones, and he has here recently had injury problems. Here's his whole injury history by year. 2011, his first year in the league, he missed 3 games for a hamstring injury. 2012, didn't miss any games. 2013, fractured foot, he missed 11 games. 2014, he had a hip injury, he missed 1 game. 2015, no games missed. 2016, right big toe sprain, he missed 2 games. 2017, no missed games. 2018, no missed games. 2019, shoulder injury, he missed 1 game. 2020, left hamstring injury, missed 7 games. And then last year, hamstring injury again, missed 7 games.
I wonder if it's the same one both years.
Well, it was a left hamstring in 2020. He had one in 2011 too. So, yeah. But the hamstring injuries are one of those that, we've talked about quite often where, when players want to not play, hamstring. Because it's not like a knee where you can look at and go, oh, here's the problem. Hamstrings you can't really see on an MRI or whatever. You could just go, oh, I pulled the hamstring.
Well, and they are pretty painful injuries. I will speak from personal experience. I had a yoga injury where I hurt my hamstring. And I was down and out for like 3 weeks. So I will say.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They can be very persnickety. Oh my gosh, look at that bottle. That's funny.
So in 10 years, he's had 4 complete seasons. And he's played 145 of 161 games, 16 games missed. So that's 1 year, for 1 full year, basically. So he's approximately 10% of the time he's been injured. Now, the past few years, he's missed, or the past 2 years, he's missed 7 games in both seasons.
Which is pretty common. As you get older, your body starts breaking down. What he needs is some of that TB12 voodoo.
Right. Yes.
Which will get him back in tip-top shape.
Especially for these soft tissue injuries like hamstrings and stuff. Yeah, that's, get Guevara on, that's best. We're going to have Julio Jones out there doing cartwheels down the field all season.
Play until he's freaking 45.
Yeah. But
well, look at Chris Godwin. I mean, they said he wasn't coming back until November, and now he's ready for camp like 5 months early. Yeah. That is absurd.
And when you saw that hit,
yeah.
I mean, his knee bent back, and that was just a helmet right on the knee. Ugh, full force too. But as a comparison, Rob Gronkowski, I compared him. He played in 143 of 161 games. So he actually played in 3 games less in the same time period. So he's right around 11%.
Okay,
injured.
But he has had really serious injuries. Like they rebuilt his arm and his back surgery like twice.
Yes, well, true enough.
I'm just saying.
But Julio has kind of the same playing style as Gronk, not near as physical or he's not near as big as Gronkowski, but he does that. He'll put a shoulder into you before he'll go out of bounds. But then I compared Mike Evans. Mike Evans has played 122 of 129 games. He's only missed 7 games in his career. So that's like right around 5% injured time. That's pretty good. You know what? We are so stacked at the receiver position. I'm not even worried about Julio Jones getting injured. Okay, let's say he gets injured week 5. Great. Play Chris Godwin that much more. Or Brashard Perriman or Russell Gage. Like, who cares? You know what, though? I say this. That's right. This is exactly what happened last year. Yeah. And then where were we? Scraping the barrel. Week 17, Cyril Grayson is like our stud. Yeah. But I'm okay with that because we still got Cyril Grayson. Right. Well, that's one of the things. Our wide receiver room is stacked, but it's stacked too much. We are going to have to get rid of some good guys. Holy crap. Right now, we have 14 wide receivers on the roster. Oh my God. We're only going to keep 7. We got Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, Brashard Perriman, Cyril Grayson Jr., Tyler Johnson, Jalen Durden, Scotty Miller, Vincent Smith, plus our new additions of Kalen Geiger, Devin Tompkins, Jareth Stearns, and Cameron Brown. That's crazy. So, Scotty Miller could end up a number 6. He could not make the team. I mean, I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing, you got Mike Evans, he's going to make it. Chris Godwin, he's going to make it. Russell Gage, he's going to make it. Julio Jones, he's going to make it. So that's 4. So then you add 3 more. I would say Brashard Perriman, because I think he's, way underrated. We don't use him enough, all that good stuff. And we keep signing him. They obviously like him. Maybe Scotty Miller, we keep him. Cyril Grayson, Tyler Johnson, Jalen Durden. I know. I mean, Durden was doing our kick and punt returns last year. I know, we just drafted him. Yeah. So I doubt if they're going to get rid of him. Do you trade? Do you trade Scotty Miller? Maybe, perhaps. Pat McAfee was talking about, he's on Pat McAfee's McAfee. People give me a hard time about that. Pat McAfee. What? I can't remember how to say it now. Remember on Ted Lasso when he's like the word becomes like a there's a name for it. A sound and you can't. Okay, anyway, Pat, the guy with the blonde hair, looks like a Ken doll. He was on his radar for the Colts, going, hey, come on, bring him over here. So maybe there could be some trade bait there with Scotty Miller. Speaking of the Colts, do you remember back in March when Darius Leonard, linebacker for the Colts, after they got Matt Ryan, he tweeted out and said for Julio Jones, he tweeted to him and said, y'all could finish what y'all started in Atlanta in the Dome here in Indy. He was trying to recruit Julio Jones.
Supposedly the Colts were in the running. The Packers were in the running.
The Saints were in the running.
The Saints. And then Tom Brady called up Julio. I was like, hey, what's going on?
Let's get a ring,
Julio?
man.
That's all it took. Tom Brady offering you a ring.
Tom Brady calls you. You just go, all right.
Tom Brady's going to put a ring on it, so.
We both took a drink at the same time. That's funny. Okay, so we got Julio Jones. That's fantastic. Where he's going to go, we don't know. Is he going to go in front of Russell Gage? Is Russell Gage going to be a slot guy behind Chris Godwin? We don't know how things are going to play out here, but we do know just having Julio Jones on the roster is a big deal. If he only gets 10 snaps a game, that's going to be interesting. Mm-hmm. We could use him as a tight end. Mm-hmm. He's definitely got the.
We got room there.
Yes, we got rid of Cody McElroy. We put him. We waived him, injury designation. I didn't check today to see if he got picked up anywhere.
I didn't see either.
If he doesn't get picked up, then we got to pay him some money. But we signed Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph played with the Giants last year. Didn't do a whole lot. I think he caught like 30 passes or something, but he was with Minnesota forever. And he was a staple of their offense. And we know the guy's got skills. He's got ups. He can catch the ball. He can jump and everything. But he's also a pretty good blocker. And I watched some all-22 on him, which, God, I canceled my NFL Game Pass today. It was supposed to renew on the 1st, and I canceled it. They come out with, they rebranded it. This is the 3rd time they've rebranded it. Now it's called NFL Plus, but it's just crap. It's crap. The all-22 is completely unwatchable. You
stopped using it towards the end of the year last year.
Yeah. I had to go through the black market channels to get the all-22. So I was watching some Kyle Rudolph, and, he's a good blocker. He's better than Cameron Brate, and he's better than O.J. Howard was. He's not as good as Gronkowski, but Gronkowski wasn't a real physical blocker. Some guys you see them, they just want to hit you. They're going to target you and they're going to try and knock your socks off. Gronkowski wasn't like that. He was just a big, strong guy, and he could get his hands on you and just keep you from going places. But
he could match up in size.
Right. Yeah, he had no problem with defensive ends, linebackers, whatever. And Kyle Rudolph seems to be kind of like that, not near as big and strong.
Yeah, he's smaller, right?
Right, but from the few games I watched, specifically looking for his blocking skills, he didn't miss any blocks, and he didn't get beat on his blocks.
Good Lord, though. He is 6'6" and 258 pounds.
Yeah, he's not a small dude.
Yeah,
and Gronkowski was.
Gronk.
Yeah, Gronkowski was 6'7".
Right.
Yeah.
So he's not even that much smaller.
Right.
Probably a little less bulky, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think we're definitely going more for, we replaced, if we look at it this way, if you look at, we replace Gronkowski with Kyle Rudolph and Antonio Brown with Julio Jones, if you look at it that way. Julio Jones is a better blocker, not as much of a deep threat, more of a physical guy.
Less trouble.
Yeah. He's going to keep his shirt on until after the game. Mm-hmm. And, with the addition of our new guards, who seem pretty stout run guys. And it just seems to me like we have the platform for running the ball a little bit more.
Interesting.
We'll see.
That is going to be crazy. It's going to be such an adjustment for us as fans.
I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be the Tennessee Titans or anything.
Right.
Or the Baltimore Ravens, but, it won't be, God, we would just abandon the run so quick the past few years. And, a lot of times the run, with BA, the running game is really just an afterthought.
He doesn't care about the run.
And like you said, he's not calling the plays as much. He's not going to be in the rooms as much. So maybe Byron Leftwich is getting more leeway. And maybe, Tom Brady's kind of like, hey, I'm getting older. I don't want to be throwing 5,000 times a year.
We can't be doing this.
Yeah.
Well, our average per game last year was like 30 yards a game rushing. It's absurd. Yeah. We had some games where Leonard Fournette went off. I know. So really, if they put any kind of emphasis on the run, we could easily double our productivity at that position. We're getting double the rush yards.
Moving on, the ESPN had ranked, and which, I don't really give a crap about ESPN or rankings, but I thought I'd bring this out. They had ranked Vita Vea as the 7th best defensive tackle in the league. This was as voted on by more than 50 league executives, coaches, scouts, and players. So this is not a media ranking. So I was kind of happy with that a little bit. I think he could be up there a little bit further, but with this ranking, there was no mention on how many voters at what position. So there could be 49 votes by players and 2 from scouts, et cetera. We don't know what the mix was there. But Vita Vea has been ranked all the way up as far as 2nd. I think in 2020 he was 2nd.
I think the next time he's up for free agency, he's going to hurt us because he already has the attention of a lot of people in the league, which is unusual for Buccaneers players like that, I think, in my opinion. They're often underrated. So for him to be on the radar of other people in the league, it's just not a good sign for free agency the next time. I'm glad we've got him locked up for, another 3 years.
Was it that long?
I think. I hope. Please.
Yes, and you were saying that Levante David, was it Levante David, was talking about they're working on Vita Vea's pass rush, right?
Yeah, he said Vita's been working on his own pass rush, like his handwork, I think. And so it does kind of seem like, we had talked about the addition of Akeem Hicks, how he's a little faster. Todd Bowles has said we want some more speed up the middle. So I don't know if they've said something to Vita to get him to work on that aspect of his game, but it does kind of seem that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is interesting, because we're going to go from having Sue and Vita, these 2 pillars of meat in the middle of the field that you just couldn't get anything through, to now, kind of a speedy front. You know, which I'm thrilled to death with Vita, because I think Vita's bull rushing is second to none. I mean, when he gets, a little steam behind him and he just goes straight forward at you, nobody can stop him. That was in his first year. I was blown away when we played Dallas and he took on their left tackle. I can't remember his name right now. Williams. They both squared up. And Vita hit him. And, this is one of the premier left tackles in the league. And Vita just dominated him, just pushed him straight back. It wasn't even a competition. And I was just like, holy crap. And, I feel like we've used Vita a little too much, stopping the run, which he's very good at that. And not enough pass rushing, just bull rush, just go straight forward with him, And I hate it when they have him dropping back in coverage, or doing stunts. You're like, no, he just, he's not. That's not his thing. He can't jump. He literally, I've never seen him get higher than 6 inches.
He's got those tiny little Mario legs.
Yeah. So
all torso.
So it'll be nice if we did just go, all right, screw the run game this year, stopping it. Let's just go for the quarterback. Just, you know, like BA used to say, rush the quarterback and stop the run on your way.
Well, I can kind of appreciate the changes that they're making, like potentially going more run heavy and then changing up the defense, because too often teams that are successful, they just stick with the same thing. Like look at Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. Like he did the same crap for the whole, what was he, 10 years he was there, whatever.
Same thing with Zimmer in Minnesota. Yeah.
And, you know, in Green Bay, it turned into Aaron Rodgers just got sick of it and was like, dude, I can't. We got to change this up. We're too you become predictable. People figure out how to beat you. So I can appreciate that the coaching staff, Todd Bowles, they are working to kind of innovate. And I think helping the guys grow, too. You know, like Vita, focus, you know, he's a master at the run stuffing. All right, let's work at your pass rush skills. Like, you're not going to get much better. You're in the top 90% for the run stopping. You're not going to get much better. So let's look at the pass rush. Let's work on that part. So I think it helps them grow as players. It keeps them motivated and fresh, learning new things, which Vita loves to do. So I'm happy to see it.
And one of the things about last year was playing against us. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have a fast pass rush, you know, with JPP and Barrett. Those guys can get to you quick. And up the middle, they would get to you quick. But I think we want faster because all the teams last year were just getting the ball out so quick.
That's a good point.
And so we're going to try to beat them at that. You know, we're going to, I mean, these guys were doing 3-step drops throw, you know, on these little slants and these RPOs and stuff. And that's what you had to do against us. So now people are going to be trying to do that same thing, and we're going to be getting to you even quicker now. So I think it's going to be interesting.
Oh, that is a good point. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for the season.
I know.
I'm so excited.
And I wonder if we're really targeting the Rams, you know, because they're not a run-heavy team, and it looks like we're kind of building a team to make sure we beat them in the playoffs this year.
Well, I mean, you do have to look at your conference and figure out, okay, who's the most likely for us to meet in the playoffs. And, I mean, they're right up there.
Yeah. I mean, we can't write off the Saints. I want to so bad, but, you know, until we beat them, we can't write them off. So, you know, we still got the Saints to worry about. Everybody else, there's nobody. I mean, you saw what we did to the Eagles in the playoffs. I mean, that was just a curb stomping.
Even the Packers, I feel like we got their number.
Yeah. I mean, really, the Rams are really the only team that's scary to us. And so, you know, I think we want to play them again in the playoffs, hopefully in the NFC Championship, and just beat the mess out of them. You know, Tom Brady does.
Did you see that their Super Bowl rings, they put their stadium inside the ring like we did?
What?
I know.
Are you serious?
They want to beat us. I mean, they won the second Super Bowl ever in the home stadium.
Oh, man.
They copied our ring. Oh, they signed, they brought in a veteran quarterback. Paid him a bunch of money.
That's funny.
Yeah. They're just copying our stuff.
Dang. I did not know that. That's cheap, man. I can't believe they would do something like that. It'll probably be a thing from here on out. Everybody will do that. Yeah.
We started a trend.
We started it. Tickets for the Munich game between the Bucs and the Seahawks went on sale last Tuesday and sold out immediately. There were 2 million people in the queue.
Oh, my gosh.
Over 2 million.
So, were they scalpers? Or was it just there's a high demand for the game because it's Tom Brady?
There's a high demand for this game. Well, one, Seahawks have a huge, huge, huge fan base in Germany.
Really?
Yes. I forget what they're called. Oh. Anyhow, the Seattle fan base. Approximately 10% of Seattle fans worldwide are in Germany. Yeah.
Just in Germany.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And they plan on having a really big Seattle Seahawks presence in the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Bucs probably not, but we know the Bucs UK guys. We got big representation in the UK, so they're traveling there. They've talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to talk them into getting into some street brawls, so we'll see how that goes with the Seattle Germany fans.
Film it.
Yeah. But yes, there's a lot of scalping going on because these tickets are going for outrageous prices. Now, I checked on this last week, so I don't know what the current prices are, but the most inexpensive single game ticket available on StubHub for the game was $563, and that is for upper level.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The nosebleeds.
I did find a set of 3 upper level tickets for $635 per seat. So,
dang.
Yeah. There were 7 listings as of last Wednesday morning that had asking prices exceeding $10,000.
Whoa.
The top price ticket on StubHub was $34,144. Wow. So, how about them apples?
Wow. Well, I've heard people say do not buy tickets when they go on sale. You buy them like the day before. Because people are trying to dump them.
The day before?
Yeah, like the day before the game. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they say to buy them like the day before the game because people who haven't sold their tickets, they drop them,
Well, you're taking a chance there, but
Sure.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I've looked at tickets when they've come out during the summer, and the prices are crazy. And then you look midway through the season and they kind of go down. So that would not surprise me.
Yeah, speaking of our defense, there was a few things about our defense that I didn't like. One of the things was, we rotated our defensive line too much, I thought. Vita Vea being one. Last year, he averaged 38 snaps per game. That's about 56% playing time. I couldn't figure out if they were trying to save them because of the extra game, on the season. Him and Sue both were kind of down a little bit in their snap counts. Via much more significantly. I say he played 607 defensive snaps last year in 16 games. He was out for 1 game. Sue played 717 snaps. That was right around 63%. So he was quite a significant amount more than Vita. So he was about 42 snaps a game, whereas Vita was 38 snaps a game. Now, those two guys need to be out there all the damn time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get tired. Sue did not get tired.
And they're difference makers.
Yes.
I mean, they are game changers. Yeah. I could see not playing them as much in the first half. And then when you're ready to button up the game or you need plays made, you put them in. They got a little more energy. But how much more really? Right. I don't know.
Well, we have so many different packages and we got good players in backup, Nacho, Golston, and so we want them to get playing time too, but to take Vita and Sue off the field as much as they have done, I don't like it. I never have liked that. There's quite a few things about this defense that I'd love, but a few things that I'm just not a big fan of that. And even Whitehead, when he went to the Jets, he said, he did not like how they pulled him off the field so much, and it's understandable.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with him. You have certain players that are like him. He's very physical. He's just a missile.
Right.
And you want to see that on the field. They
want to be out there making plays. They're playmakers. Sue averaged throughout his career, he normally was out there for about 80% of the snaps. That shows you how much different we played him that he has his whole career. I mean, that's a 20% drop off. Yeah. That's wow, that's quite a bit. Vita, since he's been here, he's averaged about 66% of the snaps. So it's not a whole lot. Not for somebody of his pedigree.
Yeah, an elite.
Yeah. But of course, this doesn't include playoffs. But still, it's about the same. I don't know if we're going to see that different this year. I don't know. It's one of the things that used to drive me crazy with Todd Bowles' defense is when we get into the red zone, he would take Sue and Vita out and put the speedier guys in there, Golston and McClendon and Nacho and those guys. And he would take Barrett and JPP out. It was very strange. And I know that would drive them crazy because that's when these guys want to be in there, in that red zone thing. Once we would get down, about the 5-yard line or something, then he'd put the big guys back in. So
yeah, and we drafted Logan Hall. I mean, wasn't he our second round pick, our first pick? And he's a similar size to Golston,
right? Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that they're going to change that.
I know. Vita's just so much fun to watch, though. I know. He really is. He just manhandles guys. That first year, that was such a shock to the system watching him pick those guys up and throw them. Yeah.
Shake them?
Yeah. Yeah, remember that one time where he just shook that guy? Was that Chicago? I think it was. He grabbed the guy, and he was watching the runner, and he just shook him. It was hilarious. Big 300-pound dude. Vita's just shaking him around like a rag doll. But he's gotten away from that, and I think they've coached that out of him to not expend your energy, doing stuff like that. But I think that he really enjoyed doing it. You could tell he just liked throwing guys around. I mean, he would hook them under the arm and flip them. That was like his signature move. But then again, I don't know if it was coached out of him or if they caught on to it. He can't do it anymore because I saw him try to do it a couple times in 2021. That would be last year, 2020. And he wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, so they've figured out how to defend against it.
Yeah. Don't know. So it's gonna be really interesting to see because we're definitely getting faster up front, and it sounds like we're trying to get Vita to be more of a pass rusher, which is fine because I think he's built for that.
I know. I'm so excited about the season. I can't wait. I haven't really thought much about football. We've been so distracted. But then yesterday, all the news coming out, we're making some big additions right before training camp. Training camp's about to happen, and then right after that is preseason. It's on.
I know. And it's just short preseason. It's only 3 games now, and then bam, 17 games of football, 18 weeks.
I mean, it's just right around the corner. I don't know if I have the schedule.
I want to say September 8th.
Right. Yeah, but when's preseason?
We got to start doing our countdown again.
I know. Ralph.
I know.
Where
slacking.
I know. Yeah, I don't have the schedule. I can't remember when the first preseason game, but it's right around the corner. Probably second week in August, 2 weeks.
Now, next year, the Buccaneers are supposed to be doing their creamsicle uniforms. Our throwbacks. It'd be nice to see Tom Brady in one of those. We don't know if he's going to be here or not. He did say he doesn't know if this is going to be his last year or not. So, there might be the possibility. Like I said, we're going to do more of a running game just to try and preserve him so that he will stay for another year. Make it a little bit easier for him. Leonard Fournette can do it. He can be a workhorse running back.
Absolutely.
There's no.
I mean, he
doubt
was in
about
Jacksonville.
Yes.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. He's one of those running backs that he just gets better, as the game goes on. And his pass catching and run blocking, or his protection, has just gotten fantastic. I mean, he was making one-handed touchdown grabs last year. The running back. And then, his pass protection, it was a little shaky when he first got here. And he worked on that, and now he's elite level, man. I mean, I don't think he missed a block last year. And he was making some damn good blocks. A couple times he was blocking 2 guys. So,
and maybe that's why he's putting on some weight.
Yeah, I think so.
You know?
I think he's putting on weight because he knows he's going to be a bigger part of this offense this year. That's just my speculation. We'll see how that goes out. We have to write that down as a prediction. Yeah. So, you know, we're going to be doing the creamsicle uniforms next year. Hopefully, that's the plan so far. The Carolina Panthers are doing a black helmet this year on week 10. I think it's right around Thanksgiving.
So they got an alternate helmet.
Yeah, they get to paint their helmet.
A bunch of teams have put out alternate helmets. And I'm like, why can't? That was the whole reason that we couldn't do the creamsicle jerseys was because the helmet didn't match. Right.
I don't know. I know they changed it, and we were eligible to do it this year, but we didn't. We decided to do it next year. Don't know what that's all about. But I was looking at the Panthers helmets. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. You know? Did you see the Bengals?
No. What are they doing?
It's really cool. It's the tiger stripes, but it's a white background instead of the orange. Yeah, it looks super cool. It looks really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's quite a few teams. I think the Cardinals had one. I didn't see the Panthers one.
Well, they put out a video, and it was absolute garbage. I don't know what they were thinking. They never showed the helmet, really. You know, it was like all these flashing lights and this helmet was spinning and everything. And you're like,
so cheap.
I just want to see the freaking helmet.
Yeah.
But like a couple hours later, they put out pictures of the helmet, and it was actually pretty cool. It's just a black helmet with a Black Panthers outline in blue. But, you know, screw the Panthers.
I know you'll be seeing that a lot.
Oh, God. Yeah, so we're going to be in our new house at the beginning of the season. We bought at the high point of the market. We just couldn't wait anymore, to be honest with you.
I know.
We were good. You know, I was thinking, okay, we'll let the kid go to the school this year, and then at the end of the school year next year, we'll get a house because I figured the market would be cooled down and all that. But we're just sitting here going, well, I don't want to sit here for another year. I want to be.
And my clock's ticking. Like, we got until January, so.
Right. So.
Until I have to help you to move things. I got an excuse right now. Sorry, I can't leave that couch with you. After January, I'm fair game.
Yeah, so hopefully soon it'll be in September, like we said, probably right around the start of the season, probably after the start of the season, we'll be in the new house. And, you know, we're going to have a whole room dedicated to the podcasting studio, my office and all that good stuff. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah.
New stuff. Get all our equipment set up.
Yeah.
Won't have to worry about the kid coming and walking into the camera angle and all the noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a factor. So we're excited about it. And we're excited about this season. And as Buccaneer fans, y'all need to be out there and be excited too. This is, it's hard to say, but I think this might be a better team than we had last year, which was the same team as we had in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's a tall order,
It is
Ralph.
a tall order. You know, without Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, Ali Marpet, what was the right guard's name?
Kappa.
Yeah. Alex Kappa.
Forgotten about
I know. JPP, Ndamukong Suh, Whitehead. Who else? You know, it's a lot of players I loved are gone now, and
we got a bunch of new ones with potential.
O.J. Howard, Ronald Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep, and we picked up Logan Ryan, safety from the Giants. Shaq Mason, right guard from the Patriots. I'm real excited about him.
I forgot about him when you were talking about the guard situation. I was like, what is going on at guard?
Yeah. Just the game film I've watched on him, man, is just solid guy. You know, and great at the run game. You know, the outside picking up stuff, and he doesn't look like it. I mean, he's kind of a short, stocky guy, but he gets out in space, man, and he closes it on people. Russell Gage, wide receiver from Falcons. Fred Johnson, left tackle from the Bengals. Keanu Neal, safety from the Cowboys. Akeem Hicks, defensive lineman from the Bears. Kyle Rudolph, tight end, Giants. And Julio Jones, wide receiver from the Titans. Those are some pretty good names there to fill in our gaps. So I'm excited about it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And we're already getting information from training camp, the videos.
Yeah, we're coming in training camp healthy. Chris Godwin's, looking like he's going to be.
That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Just hopefully we'll make it through training camp healthy and, see what we can do in the preseason with these new guys. Because that's what we're going to do. These veterans, we got so many veterans on our team. We'll be lucky if we see them at all in preseason.
I know, I agree.
Yeah. Tom Brady's going to want to get out there and sling some around now. But anyhow, that's about all I got. Molly, anything?
No, I think I'm good. You about covered it, Ralph. Good prep there.
All right. Well, guys, be excited. We got a brand new team this year. Every year it's a brand new team. We got one goal. Put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it.
All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time.
Go Bucs.